This has become seriously concerning for the Boston Bruins as we have another injury update on David Pastrnak as he is still out from practice, still listed as day-to-day, and we're going to be talking about some more comments that have come out surrounding that, as well as multiple other updates, including what Kiefer Sherwood's value is listed as he is linked to the Boston Bruins, as well as some very good news from James Hagens as he has been listed on the preliminary roster for the World Junior Championship. So we're going to be touching on all of that here, as well as another name that may shock you that is not on that list. But we have a lot of stuff to break down here in today's video. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button. Join me here on the channel. We're covering everything Bruins, and we have a lot of stuff going down over the next couple of days. You won't want to miss it as multiple trade reports are heating up. We're going to be breaking it all down here on the channel as it happens, so you will not want to miss it. But we need to jump straight into this. And I feel like the first thing that we're all at right now is waiting for the return of David Pastrnak. That is one thing that everybody that I have seen so far been speaking in the comments of Twitter, on my videos here, on other videos, about the injury to David Pastrnak. Once again, we have another update. Connor Ryan this time. No Pastrnak at Bruins practice. Victor Arvidsson's practicing and skating on a line with Mittelstadt and Zacha, which is some good news. But when it comes down to David Pastrnak, as originally listed in day-to-day, missing his first game in over, I believe, 2 seasons, a lot of concern was coming down throughout this. With everything happening, with all of the things that have gone on over the past couple of years, it feels like Bruins fans are very hesitant with the word injury and day-to-day, and especially last year, after what we saw go through with Hampus Lindholm, and especially the fact that it is, once again, a lower body injury. Now, going a little bit further into that, Scott McLaughlin has this from Marco Sturm. Pastrnak will not travel to Detroit. They were hoping he'd be able to skate today, but he couldn't. Still day-to-day. Now, initial looks at this could just be something as simple as a nagging injury. Could be something as just something that's annoying him. Something that, is just a pain in the butt, really, at the end of the day. But the fact that David Pastrnak, after close on a week now, is still not skating. We don't know what this injury is. We know it's day-to-day. We know it's lower body. But that is it. That's the extent of what we as fans know. And at this point right now, I'm not liking the word day-to-day. It certainly does not seem like it is day-to-day, and I hope they prove me wrong. I hope that we see David Pastrnak come back tomorrow, start skating again, and ultimately, play the next game. Whatever happens there, I think will still be something that it will be a very good result when he does get back on the ice, and won't be much longer until he does return. But there's something in me, and something that just, kind of is ringing in the back of my mind saying, what if? What if this is worse? I don't want to think about it. I can't think about it. But just from the past, the Bruins have, kind of what they've done with injuries that have come out. They haven't listed too much, and I don't like the idea of that. So I want to know what you guys think here in the comments below, of course. But luckily, traveling to Detroit is the only road game they have here upcoming. And when you're looking at the Bruins practice lines right here, obviously without David Pastrnak, you're seeing Alex Steve still up on that first line instead of David Pastrnak. Morgan Geekie moved over to the right. But luckily for the Bruins, the rest of the lineup is nearly there. We look at this lineup as one that is nearly back healthy on the offense. Some different things going on the defense, and we're going to touch on that here again in a moment. But luckily, with after the Red Wings game on Tuesday, Thursday is their next game against the Blues, Jim Montgomery's team. And if he does come back for that game, that would be great because he's not traveling. Doesn't mean he won't play on Thursday, but hopefully we see him back on the ice tomorrow during a practice, in Boston or on the ice in Boston at Warrior. Some update is just what we need to see before this gets any farther, before everybody starts chatting and kind of going, saying, hey, what's going on? Is this worse than we thought? Because we do not want to see that again. So a small update there on David Pastrnak, but something that the fact that it's still a small update is causing a bit of concern in my mind. Now, before we do move on, I want to touch on a little bit on the defense here, and you're looking at a much different look. Michael Callahan, Jonathan Aspro swapping sides with Zadorov and Mason Lohrei. This is something that we've seen the Bruins do a little bit last season, but we haven't seen it with Marco Sturm just yet. And the fact that this is something that they have not experimented with yet, the fact that the Bruins have not played their best yet, I think this is something that Marco Sturm is saying, hey, let's try it. see if it sticks up against the Red Wings. A kind of an interesting game to do it rather than a Thursday matchup against the Blues when you're in a divisional matchup right here against the Red Wings. But it's something that I like to see it. I like Marco Sturm making these kind of bold changes, and if it works, it works, and he's had a pretty good track record of that so far. So I'm not going to complain about anything yet. I want to see how it works out, and if it works, fine. Why not keep it until we see really the big guys come back, mainly being Charlie McAvoy at this point, just to round out the right side once again. But we have to move on to now another update regarding this team and a very interesting trade market, with Kiefer Sherwood being a name that we have spoken about here on the channel. We see this come out from David Pagnotta, once again, the guy who's really been revealing it all, and this came out yesterday night, nearly this morning, 11:30 p.m. Newfoundland time for me. But he said, I've been hearing it's a first-round pick plus for Kiefer Sherwood. So looking at how this really impacts the Boston Bruins, we know the Bruins have first-round picks. That's no surprise. However, those picks are at, right now, an incredible value. We know how good that is going to be for the next couple of seasons for the Bruins right now, with a 6th projected overall pick from the Maple Leafs being in the Bruins' hands, and that is a top 5 projected if I'm wrong. So if that is in the top 5, that would be moved to, I believe, next season or 2028, the next available Maple Leafs first-round pick, and I can't remember right now off the top of my head what year it is, but this is something that really changed the table for this, and we're going to have a video tomorrow coming out about another interesting target that has been linked from Elliotte Friedman to the Boston Bruins, which may be a more interesting option for this team if they do not want to give up a first-round pick plus. We know how important these assets are going to be for the Bruins over the next couple of seasons, and when you're looking at how this team really has their picks sorted out, two firsts over the next 2 seasons, all their seconds, 3rd missing in 2027, and a 5th missing in 26 and 27. They have some very valuable picks here, and we know that there's a very good chance they will be moved, but for a guy like Kiefer Sherwood, I do not think he will move the needle with a first-round pick, especially for the Bruins right here. With what they have right now, yes, they need some help, but they do not want to give up a first-round pick for what possibly could be a rental in Kiefer Sherwood. So that kind of throws a bit of an issue into that mix. So I want to know what you guys think about that. Even though Kiefer Sherwood has been very solid, been very good this season, 12 goals in 26 games. The question is, though, is that value worth it? And with the first-round pick, I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be worth it if we do see him actually come out at full potential, but right now, I'm not liking the way that we see a first-round pick go, unless by some sense of the imagination, it is in the 30s, and it is the Bruins' own pick. It still raises some questions there, so let me know what you think about that. But we do have one more update before we do finish this off regarding the World Junior roster for the USA. James Hagens is the only Bruins player named on that preliminary roster for the World Junior Championship, noting that Will Zellers is not there. A lot of people believe that he just missed the cut, but as of right now, I think that James Hagens certainly has a great opportunity for this World Juniors to really show what he's made of, prove teams wrong for passing up on him, the former projected 1st overall pick a couple seasons ago, I guess a couple seasons ago from the projection. He was very good. People thought that his growth had stunted with the Boston College Eagles, but that was indeed false. He's been very good this year. And looking at how this roster, at least right now, is playing out for the U.S., just him, right now, of course. The one other, that notable option being Will Zellers left off this, I don't think is a bad thing to see. Still, development's coming good. Not necessarily on pace for, that 120 points he had a couple seasons ago this year in the NCAA, but he's still putting up some great numbers for his first year. So I just wanted to point that out as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. We have a lot of news to cover, and I want to make sure that you guys are staying up to date right here on the channel. It's also 100% free to do so. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.